Hello Dragons, and welcome to this instructional video for Lesson 6 Part 1, Adding the Bill of Rights. The main idea behind this civics lesson is the Federalists' promise to add a Bill of Rights to the Constitution was fulfilled in 1791, when Congress approved and the states ratified the first 10 amendments, collectively known as the Bill of Rights. With that in mind, by the end of watching this video, you will be able to describe the two methods that may be used to propose and to ratify an amendment, summarize the debate in Congress over the Bill of Rights, and describe how the Bill of Rights became part of the Constitution. Now that the outcomes for this lesson have been shared with you, let's get started. To understand how the Bill of Rights became part of the Constitution, you need to recall why a list of citizens' rights was left out of the original document. Quite simply, the framers thought that it was unnecessary. They believed that the Constitution already guarded against tyranny by limiting the government's power. The Anti Federalists disagreed and put up a stiff fight against ratification. If James Madison and other Federalists had not promised that a Bill of Rights could be added later, in the form of amendments, the Constitution might not have been ratified. After the ratification, Madison was determined to fulfill his promise to the Anti-Federalists. Adding a Bill of Rights would be an important step toward gaining their support for the new government. The stage was set for the first changes in the Constitution, and therefore the first test of the amendment process. The Constitution requires that any amendment must be approved at both the national and state levels. First, an amendment is approved at the national level, usually by Congress, and proposed to the states. Then the states either ratify it or reject it. There are two ways to propose an amendment to the states. Congress may propose an amendment if it has been approved by a 2/3 vote in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. The 27 amendments that are part of our Constitution today were all proposed this way. An amendment may also be proposed by a national convention called for by 2/3 of the state legislatures. This method, however, has not yet been used. Once an amendment is proposed, there are two ways for the states to ratify it. The usual route is approved by the legislatures of 3/4 of the states. The other method is approval by special conventions in 3/4 of the states. Congress chooses which method will be used. The amendment process can take months or even years to complete, because any proposed change in the Constitution must gain such widespread support. In the case of the Bill of Rights, the amendment process began in Congress. Speaking to fellow members of the House in June of 1789, Madison declared that many Americans believed that the Articles of the Constitution did not adequately protect their rights. By proposing a Bill of Rights, he argued, Congress would be responding to the people's will and earning their trust, thereby laying a solid foundation for the new republic. The newly elected Congress, however, was impatient to begin passing laws that would set the young government firmly on its feet. Therefore, Madison agreed that a Bill of Rights could wait. He urged Congress, though, to prepare a Bill of Rights as soon as possible. By doing so, he declared, Congress would make the Constitution better in the opinion of those who are opposed to it without weakening its frame, in the judgment of those who are attached to it. 2 months later, in August, members of Congress began preparing the amendments that they hoped would become the Bill of Rights. After some debate, they produced a list that drew on many earlier statements of individual rights, such as the Magna Carta, the English Bill of Rights, colonial charters, and state constitutions. The next issue was where in the Constitution to place the Bill of Rights. Madison wanted to place the rights within the Articles of the Constitution to show their relationship to limits already placed on the government. As it turned out, the majority of members of Congress voted to attach the list of rights to the end of the document. Some congressmen wanted the Bill of Rights at the end because they did not want to give them the same importance as the original Constitution. Following the debates, a committee of congressmen wrote final versions of 12 amendments, including 10 that protected citizens' rights. Congress approved the amendments and proposed them to the states in September of 1789. The amendments were welcomed by people who had not trusted the new government. Only two failed to gain enough support: proposals to enlarge the size of the House and to limit when Congress might raise its salary. By December 15, 1791, the states had ratified 10 amendments protecting citizens' rights. The Bill of Rights had become part of the Constitution. So that's the way it is with Lesson 6, Part 1, Adding the Bill of Rights. At this point, you should know that Article 5 of the Constitution outlines the methods by which amendments can be proposed and ratified, and the Bill of Rights, identifying individual rights held by citizens of the new nation, were debated in Congress and ultimately added to the Constitution. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to have the entire catalog of civics videos available at your fingertips. Click the subscribe button and then click the follow bell to receive notifications as to when the channel is updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in class, Dragons. See ya!